Hello everyone, Missy here again today, and we will be doing relationship of addition and subtraction. So on our agenda for today, we have objective, materials, and the joke of the day. So our objective for today is I can clarify the relationship between addition and subtraction. So by the end of the day, and after all the material that we learned, you'll be able to do that. Continuing on our materials section, we have paper and pencil. And again, if you don't have paper and pencil and want to use anything to write with and write on, that is a-okay. And if you just want to follow along on an electronic device, that works as well. Participation is key. So any way that can help you participate would work for us. So while you get those materials, we have the joke of the day. So the joke today is, why do plants hate math? So if you guys could pause for 2 minutes to get those materials and think about that joke. All right, so our joke of the day answer is, why do plants hate math? Because it gives them square roots. So if you see in the picture, the roots all have squares on them. If there's squares on the roots, then the plant wouldn't be able to grow. So that's something a little bit fun to get our brains thinking about math. I always like to start off with something fun like that, like a joke or a riddle, just because it helps me already start thinking. So let's start thinking. So I would like you guys to create a diagram for 3 plus 5, and then create another diagram for 6 minus 3, and then how can diagrams help our relationship between addition and subtraction. So I'm going to let you guys do any kind of diagram you'd like. That's going to help you, manipulative way. If you guys have, like, if you want to draw certain pictures, that works too. I'll leave it up to you on how you want to start creating these diagrams for that. So if you guys could do all 3 of these, I'll give you about 3 to 4 minutes to do that, and then I'll go over them with you. All right, so moving forward to our first one that says start thinking, create a diagram for 3 plus 5. So here I'm using blocks because I think it's the easiest, and something fun that you can do with blocks is you can fold your piece of paper like this, and then you can just like fold it back and forth like 2 or 3 times. And this helps a lot with using like at-home manipulatives. So I know in the classroom there's like really fancy ones that you can use, the teacher provides, but if you wanted some extra support at home and you didn't have those, so mine doesn't look that great, but it's fine. So we have 3, so I could fold it into 3s just like this. And one more. So I have my 3 plus 5. So I have it folded into 3s here. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, and then plus 5. So that I'm going to fold 1, 2, 3. It didn't fit that well, but it's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, well, I'm just going to fold this one like this. So basically I have here what we have on our screen there. So I've shown 3 on the blocks as pink, and then I have my addition sign, and then I have my 5 shown as blue. So when I add those 2 together, I can just count all the blocks. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 colored blocks, which means my total for this is going to be 8. So I also did the little points to show which ones were which to show. So I really like this method, and I like to use these kind of diagrams because I can use it at home and in the classroom. So for the next one, we have our 6 minus 3. So I have my whole bottom shown as 6. I couldn't do like a half color. It didn't work out, but I was trying. So I have 6 on the bottom, and then we have my 3. So then I have my minus 3 here, and I showed in the green that that was going to be the 3 that we were taking away. So then I had my 6 originally that were pink, and then I subtracted 3. So I took away 3, turned those green, and now I'm left with 3 pinks at the end. So those are ways to just show how we do like addition and subtractive with manipulatives. And for our last question and our start thinking, it was how can diagrams help our relationship between addition and subtraction? So diagrams can be used to help us visually see the difference between addition and subtraction. Diagrams can be used as manipulatives for us to distinguish the difference between them. So if you wanted to use coins, so another way you guys could have did your diagrams, or if you could have drew in some circles and then colored them to add more, and then you could have like crossed it out to subtract. I like to do circles. You could have did like lines, like tick marks, any way to help you guys distinguish what you're adding and what you're subtracting. So any way that helps you see that. I really like to use this method because if I do it all in my head and I don't show my work, I could get super confused, and I get like so confused all the time on what I am adding and subtracting. So I love to use manipulatives, and that is how it helps our relationship between addition and subtraction. So I would like you guys to try it on your own. So make the diagram that we had just shown with like the bar and the colors. If you wanted to do it on your piece of paper, fold it up into the amount as well, you can do that. So I drew mine out online, but you guys can color those in on a piece of strip of paper if you want as well. So if you could do 4 plus 1 and then 5 minus 1 on a diagram and solve the answer. All right, so I would like to go over the answer with you guys. So for the first one, I'm drawing it in right now. So I have here my 4 plus 1. So I have my 1, 2, 3, 4 orange colored blocks plus my 1 green box. That gives me a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. So my 4 plus 1 is going to give me the 5. And then I had 5 here. So, and then we're going to color them all in the same color because we started off with 5 and then we subtracted 1. So we took away 1. That left us with 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. So 5 minus 1 was 4. So those are the 2 ways you guys could have visually drew your diagram to help represent these expressions. Moving further in our Go Further section, we have complete the expression 5 plus 2 minus 2 equals blank. So I want you guys to find the answer for this along with creating a diagram on how to find the answer. So I will give you guys about 5 minutes to pause here and figure that out, and then I'll come back with the answer. All right, I hope that was enough time. So this one's a little bit more confusing since it's a 3-step problem, but after you see what I have here, and then I'll move on to the explanation, it'll make a little bit more sense. So complete the expression 5 plus 2 minus 2 equals. So on my diagram, I have my 5, original 5 in red, and then I have my plus 2 in yellow. So I have my 5 plus 2, which is my first part of the equation, and then I have my minus 2. So I'm going to subtract the 2 that I had just added. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 2, which is my yellow, and then subtract 2, which on the top part I have the minus 2. So I'm going to take away those 2 yellow, and then I'm left with 5. So basically, I have my 5 plus 2 minus 2 equals 5. So hopefully you guys saw a pattern in that. And since you do, we're going to understand the relationship. So we know that in the go further slide, we had 5 plus 2 minus 2 equals 5. So when we put it into variables, and remember variables are the letters that represent a number, x will be representing 5, and then y will be representing 2. So we have x plus y minus y equals x. So basically, when we use our PEMDAS, we do our first part, which is my addition, my subtraction, and then that gives me my answer. So then my x plus y minus y equals x. So once you plus the x and you minus the x, it cancels each other out basically, and then it'll leave you with the same original answer. So again, if you wanted to connect the x's and the y's, and then it's set up the same, that's how we're understanding the relationship between that. So now that we've understood the relationship between that, I want you guys to pause here for about 7 minutes, finish these, fill in the blanks, and then if you guys wanted to make a diagram for it, please feel free. But again, since we've already went over how to do the diagram so much, you don't have to if you understand it. But if you wanted to, that would definitely not hurt at all. Again, I love to use diagrams because it is super, super helpful for me to see what I am doing. So pause here for about 7 minutes, and then we'll come back together. All right, I hope that was enough time for you. So I'm going to start with the first one that says 6 minus 3 plus 3, and then I'll go down, and then I'll move on to the second column after. So we have 6 minus 3 plus 3. So what I would do first if I was doing a diagram is I would do my 6 blocks first, and then I would add my 3 blocks in a different color, and then I would, I would first have my 6 blocks, and then I would subtract 3. So I would color in with a different color, or erase it if I wanted to, cross it out. Subtract 3, which gives me 3, and then I add the 3 back, which ends up giving me 6. So the answer is 6 here. And then moving forward to the next one, the 7 plus blank minus 4 equals 7. Since we know the pattern is going to be like y plus x minus x equals y, or any other variable, I know here that my answer is going to be 4, because I know that 7 plus 4 would give me 7 plus 4 would give me 11, and then when I minus 4, that gives me 7. So basically, first I would do the blocks. This is how I would do it. I would draw out my blocks and add 7. And then I would end up subtracting 4 first. So then I subtract 4, I'd be left with 3. And then I would see that my answer is 7, and I have to add 4 more from 3 to get to 7. So that's how I would do it visually. But if you guys knew the pattern and the way we have been doing it, and from this slide previous to us on, I had the representation of how we use the variables. We have the x plus y minus y equals x. Any variables can be used for this, and that's how we can continue. So now I have 10 minus 2 plus blank equals 10. So if I had 10 out first, and then I subtracted 2, so move in a little bit, that would leave me with 8, and then I would have 8 equals 10. So then I know that I have to add 2 to the 8 to make 10, so that's how I get my answer of 2. So then it would be 10 minus 2 plus 2 equals 10. So now on the other side, it's basically the same thing, but we're going to be using variables instead of the numbers. So I have a minus b plus b. So if I minused b and plus b, they would cancel out, so my answer would be left as A. And then using that same pattern, we have the x plus blank minus y equals x. So I know I have to plus y to minus the y, to plus y and then minus y, which would cancel each other out, which would leave me with x. And same thing for f minus b plus blank equals f. So I know that I have to plus b, so that b plus b and minus b could cancel out and would leave me with f as my answer. So basically that's what we wanted to do to distinguish the relationship between those two and use them in variables. So I'm going to go to some more practice for you guys. So this one's the properties of addition. So basically you which property is shown. So then you would click the one that's shown. And also this website though, let me go back, has a lot of different math games for you guys to use. So we would go down to the 6th grade, and then there is literally a math game for every standard on here, and you can use this as review. And the ones with the little green next to it means that you can use it on your cell phone and play the games there as well. So if you guys are struggling with certain different sections of math and that you wanted extra practice on, there is all of these for you guys to do. And you can just look through it and see like, oh, I want a little bit of extra practice on adding and subtracting decimals up to 100. So you would just click it and then, it'll take you to the game. It's not very like fun and interactive and doesn't have that many like characters like some of the other ones that we've done, but this one is super, super beneficial for you if you wanted extra practice along with like learning a new section. So if we go back to the slides here, today at the end of the lesson, our objective was I can clarify the relationship between addition and subtraction. So that's what we did when we did our more practice of them together, and we understood the relationship of the formula that was x plus y minus y equals x. And we also clarify the relationship and the difference between addition and subtraction when we did our visual, so that you could see and use our manipulative to visually see the difference between them. So that's all we have for you guys today. So thank you so, so much and hope you have a great day.